Afternoon. Hope everyone's doing okay. I know I am. It's been a pretty good week. I am really enjoying my Savinelli Bing's Favorite. It's one of my newer pipes in my collection. Just love the nice, long stem. The finish is beautiful. I got the smooth version. It's one of my only smooth pipes, and I like it. I thought I'd give it a try. I do like the pipe, but I do think that I like the rusticated finishes a little bit more. I love Bing Crosby. Every Christmas time, I have to go see White Christmas. It's just it has to be my favorite Christmas movie. There's nothing that screams Christmas like snow, 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 snow. Or the Counting My Blessings song. That's such a good one. I have a really fond memory of a couple Christmases ago. My family and I, every December, we go up to Chicago in the city and go to the Christkindl Market. We spend the day having drinks at, different establishments. We like to go to this really old German bar called the Berghoff. We like to go to the Walnut Room. Of course, we go to the Christkindl Market. We usually take the train. And a couple of years ago, we took the train back. We were all pretty tired. We had had a few drinks. We had a few drinks in us. We got off the train and we were waiting for our ride home. So we stepped into a bar for a nightcap. It was a small bar, kind of a hole in the wall type. We walked in. There were only a few people at the bar, which was great. But as we walked in and we opened the door on that cold winter night, the snow was falling. We opened the door and all of a sudden we just hear Bing's voice cranked to the highest volume. And they were singing Bing's song from White Christmas called Counting Your Blessings. And it was just like such a moment for me. I'd spent the day with my family. I had just had my daughter the year before, looking forward to the Christmas. The Christmas season always fills me with joy and cheer. My wife and I had gone through some hardships, but things were looking up. And on that cold, snowy winter night, we opened that door and Bing sings about counting your blessings. And I think it was a moment that'll always stick with me. Bing Crosby was a force. I've been reading his biography. It's called Swinging on a Star, and it's about his life from 1940 to 1946 during the war. And talks about his family life and his professional life, and I would just like to really know more about the man. I actually just watched a movie today with Bing Crosby, Frank Sinatra, and Louis Armstrong, actually, called High Society. I think it was from 1956, and it was great. I didn't know what to expect. I had read that it was one of the better ones, so I wanted to give it a shot. And the music and the acting and the story, it was so good. There's a song where Frank Sinatra and Bing do a duet during a party. And they're both pretty sauced on champagne. And their acting was great. Gotta wonder how much they were really acting, if you know what I mean. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. I didn't plan to talk about Bing Crosby for the better part of this video, but here we are. Smoking the Bing's favorite. Guess we got to talk about Bing. So today, for my little show and tell segment, I wanted to show you this magazine. It's called Timber and Smoke. This is the first volume. It just came out in June. So if you're a pipe smoker who likes to read about pipe culture, unfortunately nowadays we don't really have much left. There used to be Pipes and Tobacco, there used to be Pipes magazine, but none exist anymore. So on YouTube, I found a channel called Timber and Smoke. And the channel is all about pipes, tobaccos, cigars, crafting. But what's really cool is that channel recognized that we were lacking a magazine. So he wanted to make his own. Timber and Smoke. Here it is. And this is just so awesome. I mean, he's coming out with them every once in a while. They're $10 an issue. So worth it. It's full of essays and poems and little editorials just about pipes, tobaccos, pipe culture, pipe history, just everything we love in this hobby. A short review of blends. Looks like this is a review of one of the Country Squires blends. I'll make sure I include the link down in the description. He even includes something fun like a little word hunt. A pipe tobacco word hunt with words like aroma and chamber or lighter or briar. So I figured I could read something here by a man named Parker Morris, who may be even in the YouTube pipe community. All of these authors that he's gathered here are people that have submitted work to him. And it's called Coffee and Tobacco by Parker Morris. Before I do that, I'm going to take a sip of my own brew. light my pipe, and then we'll be off to the races here. Oh, my tamper's already over here. My Mixture 965 by Peterson. It's good stuff. Good English blend. So, coffee and tobacco. I've been a coffee drinker longer than I've been a pipe smoker. For a majority of that time, I was just on the consumer side of the coffee world, just drinking it to stay awake, not really caring too much in how that cup of coffee came to be. In contrast to the way I used to view coffee, when I got into pipes, I basically jumped in with both feet. What started with a pound of Lane 1Q and a few Missouri Meerschaum cobs I ordered while in Afghanistan, it led me to learning as much as I could about the hobby. I learned about the different types of pipes, materials, shapes, etc. Then I learned about tobacco, both end user types, aromatic or non-aromatic, and the different types of leaf and the various curing and preparation types involved with producing pipe tobacco. Fast forward a few years and I began to actually learn about how to brew good coffee, different brewing types, roast profiles, etc. Eventually learning how to roast my own coffee. Once I began to learn roasting and the methods coffee producers use to process the coffee cherries, I began to notice similarities between the two plants. The more I paid attention, the more similarities appeared. You can call me a boring man, Captain Vanilla, if you will, but these similarities were and are very interesting to me. If I can get one reader to scratch their heads and think, I never thought about that, that is cool, then I will be happy. Let's start with the scientific taxonomy level. Coffee and tobacco both have more commonly used species, as well as more potent and less common subspecies. The predominantly used coffee plant is Coffea arabica. Then you have the lesser common but higher caffeine Coffea robusta. With tobacco, you have the most commonly cultivated Tobackiana nicotiana, which comprises a majority of the tobacco grown. Complementary to that is Tobackiana rustica, the lesser used tobacco that has more nicotine than your normal leaf. Both tobacco blenders and coffee roasters will make blends that may contain both of their respective tobacco or coffee, making use of the different flavor profiles and strength of each of the different varieties. Speaking of flavors, there are even similarities in what flavors you can get from tobacco and coffee. Nutty, chocolatey, dried fruits, etc. These can all be found in different varieties of tobacco and coffee. Different varieties, but also different preparation techniques and curing methods for both plants. Tobacco and coffee can both be cured in the sun, fermented, steamed, etc., each of these processes lending to different flavor profiles, or just accentuating some of the natural flavors that exist in the leaves and beans. Then we can talk about the final products that you buy as a consumer and how they share some similarities there as well. In the pipe tobacco world, there are different categories of available tobacco, aromatic and non-aromatic. Aromatic tobaccos are usually topped or case, as it's called in the industry, with different flavoring, additives, liqueurs, etc. Coffees also come with flavoring added, or just your normal beans. I guess we can also talk about the chemical compounds that each of these plants provide us when we enjoy them. Say what you will about caffeine and nicotine, but there are studies out there that show that each of these compounds are beneficial in certain dosages, helping with focus and energy, as well as other benefits. One final similarity that I'd like to touch on are the similarities in how we get to enjoy each of these plants when we are the end user. Both tobacco and coffee become extracted with heat if you think about it. It is through hot water most often that the coffee grounds are extracted through. With tobacco, you apply a soft flame or some other heat source and the flavors and nicotine are extracted through that as well. As I sit here putting literal pen to paper, just thinking about all these different similarities, I'm just astounded at this realization that two seemingly unrelated plants have so many things in common. At the end of the day, we as coffee drinkers and pipe smokers know what we like. We will reach whatever flavors that we enjoy on a regular basis, so the next time you light a bowl or sip your morning coffee, just sit and think about how that coffee or tobacco got into your hands. What methods were used to ripen and cure that tobacco? What processes were used to prepare the coffee cherries, roast them, and brew them? So that's just a little essay about coffee and tobacco here in Timber and Smoke. This is such a cool project. I've actually reached out to Timber and Smoke asking if I could maybe help, and I actually have something coming in the next issue that he's going to publish. Just a little poem. It's just so cool, man. It's like I'm a print guy, as you can see from my many bookshelves in my study here, and just having something here in my hands to feel and touch and read and share. It's something that just really just is me. So I really enjoy this. I think it's such a cool project. I'll read one more little essay. It's kind of short. It also has to do with coffee. Implements of the early hour. The early hour is my favorite time of day. I love waking up and getting a cup of coffee, my whole morning ritual. Grabbing a book, having a pipe sometimes. Implements of the Early Hour by Luke Guzdich. He rose before the sun, not because he wanted to, but because something inside him demanded it. The old, silent compulsion of men who moved toward difficulty, not away from it. It wasn't ambition, and it wasn't duty. It was older than both. Something elemental, instinctual. The quiet gravity that pulls a man from sleep when the rest of the world is still draped in shadow. In the half-light of morning, with the frost still clinging to the windows and the world not yet awake, he made his way to the stove. The coffee boiled black as coal tar over a blue flame. No sugar, no cream, no ceremony. Just the dark, bitter clarity that comes with it. Beside the kettle waited the pipe, packed and patient. Tobacco sat there like an old friend who never asked questions, only offered presents. That's brilliant. An old friend who never asked questions and only offered presents. These weren't indulgences, they weren't distractions or hobbies, they were implements. As necessary as the blade or the fire-starting steel, a good pipe and a strong brew were tools of the trade for men who meant to meet the day head-on, not sidle into it. Coffee struck the blood like a spark to dry tinder, waking the mind, urging it towards into the day's unknown terrain. It shook off the last ghosts of sleep and sent the thoughts moving like boots on gravel. Tobacco, slow and steady, did the opposite. It calmed the pulse, smoothed the edges, kept the chaos at bay. It didn't quicken the heart. It tempered it. Together they shaped a rhythm, fast and slow, burn and calm, heat met hush. The kind of rhythm that doesn't just get a man through the day, it sets the pace for the long march ahead. Because life, if you're doing it right, is a kind of wilderness. Whether it be forest, desert, or the interior wilds of a man's own becoming, the terrain is rough and rarely mapped. And so the morning ritual wasn't about comfort, it was about readiness. A moment to get right with yourself before facing the hard road. A cup of heat and a curl of smoke, signaling not leisure, but preparation. A pipe isn't just for burning leaf. It's for burning off the fog, distilling thought, and reminding a man that he's made of. It's both a compass and a tether, linking him to something older, quieter, and truer than the noise of modernity. So he sat in the stillness before dawn, letting the caffeine bite and the smoke soften. Outside, the frost thickened. Somewhere ahead lay work, maybe hardship, but for now he was ready. Not because of habit, not because of ease, but because the implements were in hand and the fire was lit. Luke Gooseditch, Implements of the Early Hour. Speaking to my soul there. Anyway, Timber and Smoke, issue number 1. Unfortunately, I believe this issue is sold out. However, the next one's coming very soon. Within the next month or so, I believe. Actually, the orders will be live. I'll go ahead and link it in the description. I want to give a shout out to the Timber and Smoke YouTube channel. I'll go ahead and link that in the description as well. Check them out. Please remember to like and subscribe. I want to do this more regularly and just continue sharing my life and the pipe and everything that I love with you. All of these great books on my shelf, all of these experience week by week, day by day, month by month. The YouTube pipe community is a good community, and I really do want to be an active part of it. So thank you. Thanks for stopping by.